On this episode of the Sweet Hometowns podcast, we welcome a guest from the Freshwater Land Trust because it is Keep Alabama and Keep America Beautiful month. Looking forward to this conversation. So we are excited to welcome Carolyn Buff she is the Red Rock Trail Systems Director. Yes. Make sure I say that right. And because it's Keep America Beautiful and Keep Alabama Beautiful month, it seemed natural to have you on board. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what the Freshwater Land Trust does?
Absolutely. Well, first, thank you for having me. We're excited to be here. The Freshwater Land Trust is a great nonprofit based in Birmingham, Alabama, and we work in central Alabama. And really our goal is to protect land, not only for the quality of the environment, human health, and our enjoyment, but we also work on connectivity. So making sure that people can get outside, get connected to the outdoors, and connect to one another. And so we do that through our conservation work and also through our Red Rock Trail System, which is a master trail network plan for Jefferson County with the idea of connecting every resident in Jefferson County to a green space within 1 mile of their home. And so,
oh, wow.
Yep. So it's a very ambitious goal, and the total goal is 750 miles, and we're about 185 right now. So job security.
Yeah.
And we will, we keep working on that and trying to build more connections, more trails for people to really be able to get outside and recognize how beautiful Jefferson County and central Alabama is, because it's an unsung jewel of the South. And so we really want people to be able to get outside and enjoy it.
And I know we connected with you when we were hosting the National Main Streets Conference in 2024 about how do we make sure that people who were coming to Birmingham understood all these trail systems and how great of a job you guys are doing connecting the districts to your trails. So that's exciting for us.
Yes, and it was great to hear their feedback. You know, we don't get a whole lot of feedback from people from out of town, and it was really lovely to hear, again, how shocked people are when they come to Birmingham and they realize how beautiful and how unique it really is. Yeah. I'm an outsider, so I kind of understand that. But after working here for a while, we take it for granted, and so it's always lovely for people to come in and just see really what great things we have to offer.
It's great.
I think all three of us at this table are outsiders, actually.
Yeah. It's kind of the way to be, because you have a different outlook.
Right. So we were talking before we started the podcast this morning about how you were looking at our Sweet Hometowns website and checking out the different communities within the area. And one of the things that we promote on that website are the trail links. So all the different trails that are connected to one of our designated communities. So tell us a little bit more about the Red Rock Trail System and kind of how it's all interconnected within Jefferson County.
Yeah, so our trail system is really a beast of a thing. And so when we say trails, we mean a whole lot of different things. We're trying to create experiences for everybody in the county, no matter what kind of experience they're looking for. So we have our very remote hiking, mountain biking trails where you can go out, really enjoy nature, forget that you're in one of the biggest counties in Alabama. We then have our urban trails, which are really those more concrete kind of off-road trails where you're never too far from a coffee shop, but you can still really enjoy being outside and getting to know your neighbors. And then we have a lot of on-street connections, so making sure that our communities and our neighbors are actually able to get to the places that they want to go, hopefully off of our trails, in an easy and convenient way, and hopefully without needing a car. So really trying to bring some more equality and just making our communities a little bit more accessible for everybody. So whether you're, a teenager and don't have a license yet, or you're older and trying to age in place, we really want to make sure that our spaces are inviting for everyone. And so we really see trails as a really easy way to connect our neighborhoods, but they also make places more exciting. So especially in small, y'all's communities have so many great little small shops, and they're really vibrant and people want to spend time there. And so creating additional amenities so that you can get between those spots and just kind of have a place where you can get to know your neighbors, see the local dogs as you're on your way to shopping and enjoying different places. So that's a big part of our mission. We also really want to make sure that people are able to access community health services. We want to make sure people can get to their local libraries, their schools, and all of those places safely and easily. So we can be all things for anyone.
When you're tracking out how the trail needs to go, what do you take into consideration? I mean, is it the connectivity to like libraries and those types of things to figure out where it goes?
Yeah. So as technology has increased, we've been able to track a little bit more. We don't personally, but we're able to use groups who are able to track where people are actually going, like their start location and their end location. And that's letting us know where people are actively trying to get right now. And helps us plan trail connections to make sure we're accommodating those a little bit easier. But a lot of those are your grocery stores, they're your libraries, they're your schools, they're your entertainment districts, the really cool restaurants or breweries that people are trying to go to. And so it makes it a lot easier for us when there are those destinations that we know people are actively trying to get to.
So Alabama Tourism did it. They always have a year of, and I don't know how many years ago now, it's been the year of trails.
We're on our second year, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
I think it could be year of the trail every year.
Yes,
We just have to.
It's all good.
Yeah.
But I really like the way that they tie that in, and we clearly took it to heart. And we did the Sweet Hometown Tours because if you look at the website, which you did, each of the communities is also tied to any trails that are near them. And some of them are just really well connected. Others could use some advice on how do you take an existing trail and tie it into a district. So can you give us a little advice on that?
Yeah, so I think the hardest part typically is that first trail section. So once you get something on the ground, you can build momentum. It's easier for people to see what you're talking about. So I think if you have the baseline, you have a trail segment, you can start building some momentum around that and really just showing that people are actively trying to get to one spot. And it's harder for them to get there, or there could be development options along that way, a lot of empty real estate. And so you can start really making the argument for a lot of reasons why that's an important connection. And it really just takes a community coming together and saying that this is what we want as a community to spend our money on. There's so many initiatives and great things that we could be working on as a community. I would argue that these are amongst the best because they really reach a lot of people. But yeah, it really takes the whole community coming together and really recognizing that these are important projects, that they take some time. And so you really have to be dedicated in pushing it forward.
Yeah, so coming to mind for me is Heflin has the Pinhoti Trail. And the Pinhoti, gosh, if you want to do trails, that's one to do, my goodness. But, take some water. But it's lovely. But they were trying to figure out how they could connect it to the downtown. And they had the spur that takes them to the downtown district. And it's really cool. You can go to their city hall and actually dial up something. And somebody will come out, the mayor, if he's available, and take a picture with you to show. It's just really cool small town stuff. But then I look at the other side of it with South Huntsville, where they're trying to figure out how do we connect this side of the parkway to this side of where everything is at. And they're this close to all the connectivity there because they have the Singing River Trail and all the things up there. So, so I see it on both the big side as well as our smaller cities too, the connectivity and how important that is.
Yeah, I think we often think of trails in a very narrow box of it's either an urban thing or it's a rural thing. And it really can be anything you need it to be. You can have them on streets. You can make a street safe to accommodate for everybody and enjoyable. A little bit of landscaping goes a long way and creating dedicated spots for people. So I think it's just looking at your community and what types of barriers you have and finding the easiest route is really the way to start. But, it really is helpful. Everybody is looking for this. Everybody wants to be able to move around their community easily. And so, again, I think it just takes advocacy. And if you're in Alabama, feel free to call us and we'll help you out.
Help you out. All our cities are trying to connect to trails. And it's important for us when you think about the street wall and what it means. A lot of times I'll talk to communities about, you need to build your districts for pedestrians because cars don't have wallets. Pedestrians do. So if you would like people to shop, it's kind of important that they have some place to park and are able to have a beautiful area to walk. But the street wall needs to be contiguous. So you're walking along. So if you end up having a dilapidated building or something should happen to where that building gets taken down, you need to put something there, whether it's a temporary pocket park or whatever you're doing to fill in the space in the interim so that trail continues and that walkability. As Main Streeters will tend to go a little farther than some folks would.
Yeah.
But, if you have a lot of breaks in that street wall, a regular person will probably say, I've gone past 2 of these, I'm done.
Yes.
And then you don't get to see all the amazing things on the other side, which is why the connectivity to what you do and what we do really does make a lot of sense.
It does, yes. And so to your point, I mean, studies have shown that walkers and bikers tend to spend $2 to $5 more every trip, which, if we get thirsty, you got to get the lemonade, you got to get whatever.
That's right.
Or something sparkly in the window attracts your attention, like a fish, and you got to go and buy it. But yes, I will say it's interesting.
Fish is very random, but okay.
Fish is totally random.
We're the Freshwater Land Trust. We love aquatic life.
We're rolling with it.
But that experience of, it's interesting when you start getting the psyche of people who are walking. If you have vacancies, for some reason, we have decided that feels unsafe. And so to your point, yes, making sure that you're building a continuous experience is really important.
Yeah.
And, this is not my area, but I've learned from you guys and other groups that, the more development you have, the more successful the whole region is or the whole district is. And so, we really encourage when we're putting in trails for communities to think about what does that infill look like and what is going to make the trail popular, because if you have nothing, nobody wants to be on the trail.
That's true. And we encourage our communities a lot. And this is a free piece for anybody who's listening and may want to utilize this. AARP has a walkability audit. It's slick. It's well done. It's free. Free is good. Encourage anybody who's looking at how do I connect what might be a trail to a district, do that walkability audit, and you'll start to quickly see, this is an area we need to clean up, or we can't get across here, or we're trying to cross a highway or a busy street and the light is not long enough. It's really well done. So if you want to try walkability and trail system type stuff, AARP, it's free. Walkability audit. Very cool.
And those are really cool because you start noticing things that you don't, because when you're going about your day or you have something specific that you're looking for, you're typically not looking for those things. So there's a lot of things that we've done in places that I'm very familiar with. We do an audit and I'm like, well, I never noticed that. That this light isn't long enough for maybe an older person. Exactly. Or so it's a really helpful tool. I would agree.
It is. It is great.
We caught you off guard.
Wait, what is it? Are you giving me sign language over there? I guess one of the things I wanted to ask was about kind of your collaborations with businesses and how your trails are kind of tying into those businesses around the Jefferson County specifically area. Yeah. And how all that's working. And have you seen an influx in more people going into those businesses or utilizing those trails to get from one spot to another?
Yeah, so what's really interesting is we're an environmental organization, and we really started this for environmental and community health reasons. We really wanted to get people outside and walking. But what we found is that these are huge community development tools. I mean, really unsung heroes of the community development process. And so, yes, we have noticed that there are a lot of different businesses that are targeting trails because they know it's going to bring the traffic. They know the foot traffic is going to bring people to come in. So it's been wonderful. I think a great example is our downtown corridor has all breweries, and that was just happened. It just happened that many of them established themselves, and we've seen more and more of those types of businesses that are catering to trail walkers. So, the little snacks, the little coffee shops, the breweries. Right. And we have seen a lot of people talk about how crucial the space and how it interacts with the trail has been in terms of getting more people to their establishment. And we've done a lot of different collaborations with some of our partners off the trails. They'll do give back nights, just different times, or, things like we're doing bingo, or we've done trivia and things like that on these places that are along the trail, giving people kind of this idea of, this is not just this one thing, it's all over the county. And if you go to our website, you can start seeing where some of these different experiences are showing up. And so it's been great. We really love the breweries because they've done a couple of design brews or special brews for us, which again has been really fun. That's fun. They're off our trail, so they're obviously great partners. Yep. It's fun to see what they create. And it does start to let people know not only about our trail work, but our really important environmental work, especially as it relates to aquatic species. We're the kind of keepers of a lot of endangered fish species here, especially in Jefferson County, where we've got a lot of darters that are really unique to our area. So it's fun to, have people drinking our beer and being like, oh, there's this darter fish. And apparently we should be excited about it. And you should. You should be excited about them.
And I am a sucker for the name of a beer, just because of the way it's named.
Yeah.
I would generally go, that's a cool name.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I'll try it. I don't know how it tastes, but I like the name. So
yes. And the cans are always beautiful. I mean, obviously we have no part in that, but they're very cute. Like, they make the darter fish look quite delightful.
They always do a really great job with those.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
Kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
So can you tell us how trails can connect neighborhoods? So I when I first moved to Alabama, I lived in Homewood, and I lived right off the trail that's there, which is lovely, by the way.
It is. Yeah, we're working to extend it. Yeah.
Old pictures the other day going, oh, I remember that. And it's just beautiful. Even a poor photographer like me can take good pictures.
Right, yeah.
So how can you connect those trails to the neighborhoods, to the Main Street district? Because sometimes that's what we see in our communities going, but I live so far away, and you really don't. By the time you get in your car and drive, you could have walked the trail and been here.
Right.
And you didn't have to pay for parking.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially in Birmingham.
That's a really good point. And I think something that in the South, we just have really built our communities based on cars. And so we kind of think of things as, is there parking available? How long will it take me? But if you get on a trail, most of the time you're there and you're seated in your seat, like well before you could have found a parking spot. So it is something that we have been talking to a lot of our neighborhoods about. And those neighborhood connections really are so important. And so that's where we start working with our municipalities. And a lot of that is going to be in right of way, so along your streets. And again, the streetscaping is really important, and you can make a normal neighborhood street feel very inviting and a place where people want to walk, and then they'll end up moseying to your establishment. So like Homewood is a great example that there's lots of little districts. There's Edgewood, and there's the Soho, and there's these areas that have all these vendors that people want to be at.
And it's so easy. I used to bike it rather than walk it for the most part. And it was just so easy to, I could lock my bike up. I could be there in 15 minutes and have a little backpack and take everything back, not worry about getting my car out. It was great.
It was great.
For pollen season.
Pollen season is not great for anybody.
But the rest of it was good.
So. But yeah, our neighborhoods, especially when you're thinking, I've got a young child, and so trying to think of an activity that gets him moving and, it's not a screen. That's a great day activity. Like you're going to walk to the ice cream shop, and we do that often. And it's great. The dog likes it. We like it. Everybody's happy.
And a lot of times, especially the one I'm most familiar with is the Homewood one, of course, and the one that the Rotary Trail in downtown Birmingham too, I'm most familiar with. But they're pretty well shaded, especially the Homewood one.
Yes.
So even if it's really warm, it's still a nice ride, a nice walk, because you're shaded almost the entire time.
You are. And I think what's really exciting, when you mentioned the Rotary Trail, we are working on the Civil Rights District, so the 4th Avenue District, which is one of y'all's.
Yes, it is.
And so we've got a lot of plans over there. We actually have a really large DOT grant, a $21 million DOT grant
that's really
helping
exciting.
us do that project that not only is connecting our neighborhood to the Smithfield community back, so it's Legion Field to downtown, but it goes straight through the 4th Avenue Business District. And there's so much opportunity to continue kind of that feeling of Rotary Trail or City Walk, which is underneath the bridge, which is so cool.
City Walk as well, yeah.
Really connecting all of those places. So there's lots of districts you can go to. But yeah, you'll be able to go do your history tour, but also, stop by, and hopefully there'll be dining establishments, some more coffee shops, more bars, or whatever, bracket you're in and what you're looking for, something for everyone. And so we're really hoping to integrate kind of those spaces in these really cool historical towns that
very cool.
Really need some attention. Like the 4th Avenue District is so cool. And if you talk to any of those owners,
we enjoy working. And we had Roy on not long ago, and he
did. Roy.
He did an outstanding job.
He was on our podcast.
We're getting ready to do not a podcast. See, if we're doing one now, we're getting ready to do branding with that coming up in June. So we'll be spending a lot more time in that district. But understanding that trail connectivity to that, knowing that in advance, is really helpful.
Yes,
It's good stuff.
Yeah, Roy should know. He's on our steering committee.
Of course he knows.
He knows.
Of course he knows. He knows everything.
Yeah.
So in closing, is there anything you would like us to, how to connect with the Freshwater Land Trust if somebody wants to get in connection with you, or you're a nonprofit if they would like to give?
Well, we always accept donations. So I think the best thing you can do is, if you're interested in our work, visit our website, freshwaterlandtrust.org.
Okay.
We've got a lot of information about our conservation efforts. So if you are a conservationist, or if you are a hunter or a fisher, you might be very interested to know. Bird watcher. You might be interested to know what we're doing on the conservation side. But we also have a Find a Trail tab, so we can help you find a trail.
That was pretty neat. I did use that. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, and so we're rolling out a new version of that as we become a little bit more tech savvy, and we hope to make that a lot easier. So if you're looking for a very specific type of outing.
Mobile friendly?
Theoretically, yes. We're still working on that, but yes, it will be mobile friendly.
I would be on the trail going, how the heck do I get to the next?
Yes. Yes, we're finding that there's a lot of things that people need help on with, so we're trying to build.
Girl, I am so directionally challenged.
Who isn't?
I would not know where I was going.
And we will link your website onto our podcast, so it will be on the YouTube channel.
Yeah,
but in the description.
I would say just follow along. We've got a newsletter. We're on the social medias. We're doing a lot of stuff. This work does take a long time, so patience is key. But come in and follow us in what we're doing, because we're building a lot of trails. We've got a really exciting 36-mile loop that we're aggressively pursuing around the greater Birmingham area, that's going to start making a lot of those connections to neighborhoods, to those major universities, to those big entertainment districts that I think people should be excited about. I think they should be.
It's exciting.
Very exciting.
Thank you, Carolyn, for being with us today. And please reach out to the Freshwater Land Trust. We've so enjoyed our little bit of connection with you when we were doing the National Main Streets Conference. But this has been great to reconnect and know how we can connect some of our trails back to our cities. So thank you. Appreciate it. If you have questions that you would like to pose to us on maybe future episodes of the Sweet Hometowns podcast, just send those to info@mainstreetalabama.org.
You can learn more about Main Street Alabama and the Sweet Hometowns initiative at sweethometowns.com, or follow us on Facebook and Instagram for updates and episode highlights.
The Sweet Hometowns podcast is a production of Main Street Alabama in partnership with Video Visions Media Marketing.